teams make a decision early in the year whether they're going to be a team that really keeps focusing on keeping their strength, or if they're going to be a team that backs way down in weight and really takes days off rather than coming in the weight room with a purpose. And what we tell our kids is, you know, we might be preparing for today, but really you come in the weight room, we're preparing to win games in November and December and January because we want to be the biggest, strongest team on the field down the stretch. During the season, what we'll do is we'll spend some time looking at how kids move, watching on film what their limiting factors, what we'll call it. If a kid's limiting factor is his ability to sink his hips and go either direction, he may be a hip mobility or a hip weakness guy. Flexibility, mobility may be an issue for him. And if he's going to be a great open field tackler, his limiting factor is going to be that mobility and flexibility. So we may have to make some changes to his program.
One of the things that we try to do, we try to make sure we push all guys and push them to the limit. A lot of times, guys, we always say that you have to try to conquer self before you can go and conquer your opponent. So one of the things that we do, we have different exercises or different programs or different runs during the summer that we'll do with all guys to push them, to challenge those guys mentally, make them think that they're done, and tell them to get back on the line because we want to put them in adverse situations. I have to try to make sure I take a multifaceted approach, make sure I look at the guys, different training ages. Some guys are sophomores, some guys are freshmen. So I have to look at those guys and make sure that I'm bringing them along. At the same rate, there's some guys that may be a little bit more advanced. So I try to make sure I program. The first few weeks, there's a lot of technical stuff, trying to make sure that the guys clean up their technique so that once we get deep into our programming, the guys can actually see their numbers start to go up, they start to get stronger. During the summer, there's a lot of volume. So we make sure we try to get a lot of volume to get the guys a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. And then once we get into the season, we try to cut the volume down, especially with the guys that are on the travel squad. Now the developmental guys, they may get a little bit more volume, but we still understand that they have to go out and practice because it's all about developing those guys and trying to get them ready for winter conditioning, get them ready for spring ball, trying to get them bigger. Last year's team, we didn't finish games in the fourth quarter. So one of the things we really focused on this past offseason was pushing those guys a little bit harder in the fourth quarter, doing certain exercises where certain guys, certain leaders had to put the team on their back to make their times. If they didn't make the time, they had to do it again.
We trained in the afternoons this summer, which was a great change for us. In games, you're going to hit that heat, and in camp, there's no way to avoid it. Our leadership up top embraced what we were doing, and that helped in a big way. And then we just pushed their mental thresholds, and what they found out was their body's capable of a lot more than what sometimes their mind will allow them to do. And this summer, they found that they had new ceilings, and that was fun to watch every single day.
If the guys aren't out on the field being able to produce, we're not doing our job very well. So injury prevention in season and the off season are absolutely the most important. Yes, they are very different in the fact that in the off season, we're trying to get the guys ready to go for the season. We're trying to get them bigger, faster, stronger, and in good enough condition to handle the heat and the weather and all the reps that they may take throughout the game. And then in season, we're just trying to more or less manage what they're going through day in and day out. We can manipulate things daily if we need to. If a guy has a nick or a ding, we will definitely manipulate their workout. Let's say a sore hip or a sore knee or something like that. We may have them do a box squat instead of a regular squat.
The mental part of what we do is so key. You can write the best program there is in the world. If the kids don't come in a mental state to get better, if the kids don't come in and buy in to what you're doing, really that program is pretty worthless. We talked a lot about listening to the right voice. Rather than the negative voice, find the positive voice. Focus on one play, and the only play that matters is the next one. And you can't be thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the 20th rep or the 30th rep. It's got to be, I'm going to attack the next rep, the next play with everything I got, and that's the only thing that matters right now.